What's going on, y'all? So, just listening to a podcast. So today let's talk about recording acoustic guitars because that's something I've been into. What's going on? This is Dylan with Dylan Talks Tone, and so every once in a while, not very often, but every once in a while, somebody will send me something to test. And two companies over the last 6 months or so have sent me these microphones. They're just Amazon microphones, but one of them is really not expensive. This one, and one of them is a lot more expensive than you would think, and you can actually go look below and see what the current pricing is, because I think this one actually came down a little bit. So go check it out. So what I want to know is, if this one is under 50 bucks and this one is over $200, is this one any better than this one? And second of all, is it $200 better, or whatever the difference is? Because when you look at them, they're pretty much the same cases. They're both condenser microphones that need phantom power. They come with let's talk about what they come with. So the cheap one comes with this shock mount, and you put it on a microphone stand and it works. It seems to work. Build quality, maybe a little suspect. Listen. So something's rattling inside there, which means that it's probably going to not have very good handling, capability. Like when you handle it, it'll make a bunch of noise and stuff, which is okay because these things mostly live in a microphone stand in a vibration dampening little dude there. So, it might not be a bad deal. This one's a little more interesting. This is the TZ Audio Products Stellar X2 Vintage. And it comes in this fancy box, like super cool packaging, and you open it up and it's got a pop filter in there, and it's got actually the same shock mount that the cheap microphone has, which is kind of interesting. Why would you buy these? Well, I think, you've heard me say it on this channel before, that everybody should try to record stuff. I think you should take your acoustic guitar and you should take a microphone, and let's talk about how simple it is, okay? And how simple it can be. And then we'll get into these microphones. So if you just take your whatever basic computer you have, okay? And then take something like the iRig HD Pre deal. And if you look at this thing, you can plug an XLR into one end, and then it's got a micro USB that plugs into the other end. But this can actually plug into a USB into your computer, or a USB-C for like a Samsung kind of phone, like an Android phone, or a lightning cable. It comes with all these little adapters. And then you could use any microphone, like this $30, $40, whatever this thing costs, microphone, straight into here, and use like GarageBand or something for free, and boom, you're recording. These two little dudes right here and a couple of cables, and you're recording. I just think that's so cool. So I'll tell you what, let's just do that. Let's use this, which you've heard this in a bunch of videos. I've been using this a lot lately. It has headphone monitoring on one side, and it has phantom power. So you can use a condenser microphone with it, which I think is really cool. I don't know how they get 48 volts out of 2 AA batteries. I have no idea, but all I know is it works, and it's pretty cool. It's got a little overload light on there. You can monitor with your headphones. Super cool. So we plug that little dude in, and we test these microphones. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the McPherson, we're going to play some stuff, and then we're going to do it kind of back to back. I'm not going to do it like mystery or whatever. I'm going to tell you which one is which. And just tell me if you think you hear a $200 difference between these microphones. I'm just curious what you think. We'll go through the test. We'll also do a little bit of speaking, because I think you could use these for podcasts too, which would be really cool. Or vocals, like laying down simple vocal tracks. So go ahead and take a listen to the samples, and then we will come back and chat about it. All right, so I guess I will use this microphone to tell you about the other microphone, and then we will swap it backwards so that you can hear both of these microphones back to back. So this is the Tonor. I'll put a link to it in the description. They sent me this microphone a long time ago to test, and I just never really got around to doing it because I didn't have anything to test it against. And of course, this company sent me this microphone to test, and so I figured it would be an easy way. Okay, so there's one thing I did notice right away with the less expensive microphone as I put it into the holder here. These holders are actually for the expensive microphone and the cheap microphone are exactly the same. But I noticed that the vibration dampening internal to this microphone is not near as good as this one. So if you were going to have this whole rig sitting on a table in front of you doing a podcast, for example, this one would definitely be better. Now the sound and how the microphones sound, now this being the cheap one that you're hearing, I'll put a link to it in the description as well. Does it sound that much worse or better than the more expensive one? Well, what do you think? Do you think that the super cheap microphone from Amazon is better or worse than the expensive microphone from Amazon? Put it in the comments and let me know. There's no real wrong answers here. I mean, we're just trying to figure out, I guess what we're trying to figure out is this. If you are a person who doesn't want to spend a ton of money on gear because you're not 100% sure how much you want to get into this, right? Maybe you've got an acoustic guitar or an electric guitar. You can put this in front of an amp, but we'll get into that in a minute. And you just want to record for yourself. Maybe it's not even for anybody else. Maybe it's not a podcast. Maybe it's not a YouTube video. Maybe it's not going out in the world. But all you want to do is you're like, I wrote this little riff and I don't want to forget it. I wrote this little riff and I just want to record it. Just for me, Maybe it'll turn into something later. I'm not really sure. Or maybe nobody will ever hear it again. This $30 or $40 microphone will probably work pretty good. Let's talk about the downsides and the upsides of this microphone. First of all, it's cheap, really cheap. Cost of entry, super low. Sounds pretty decent, wouldn't you say? I mean, for the money, I think it's cool. A couple of little downsides. I think that the build quality is not so awesome, although Amazon, maybe the one you buy is better. I don't know. I do feel like it's got a little bit of a hollow, kind of echoey sound, like you can tell there's loose parts in here. I'm just saying, with this particular one, maybe the one you buy won't be so bad. This one had a little kind of peaky on the highs a little bit. I don't know if you noticed that. And I didn't feel like it had as warm of a low and low mids, if that makes sense. But for the function and for the price point, and I don't want to spend a lot of money, but I just want to try recording a little bit. I'm not going to say don't buy it. I think whatever you can afford to start doing something is what you should buy. And if this is what you can afford, then buy it and try it and use it until it doesn't work for you anymore. We just used GarageBand because I wanted to keep this, I think these microphones are used for this type of thing. I don't think these are professional microphones, obviously. So I think just GarageBand and plugged into the computer and just playing a little bit just like we did. I think that's pretty much how they're going to be used, right? Now, let's talk about this more expensive. I think it did sound pretty good. Does it sound as good as a Blue microphone that costs the same amount of money or a Rode that costs the same amount of money? I don't know. Maybe we should get a couple of those microphones. Maybe with Patreon funds next month, we'll buy another microphone and maybe we'll test it against it. It did sound nice. It did have better, like I said, better low and low mids, I think. Was it $200 better than this one? I'm not sure. Would you put these in front of a guitar amp? This cheaper one, I don't think can handle it. Higher SPL situations, I have tried it, and it doesn't really work that well. It starts to overdrive very quickly. In fact, even with my McPherson. So my McPherson, it's got that sound hole in the weird spot, and the way the air comes out of it, it's different than most acoustic guitars. The way the air comes out of it's weird. And I had problems with this microphone finding a placement that it wouldn't overdrive it with just the pressure of the sound coming out of the sound hole. Putting it in front of a guitar amp doesn't work as well, in my opinion. So if you're going to mic an amp, you're going to need something higher quality like this. Here's my question to you. If you had $30 or $50, that's all you could spend in the world, would you buy this microphone? If not, what would you buy? Let me know in the comments. Now, don't use links to anything because YouTube doesn't like links and it'll kick your comment out. So don't use links. But just let me know what microphone you would. If you had $250, say, right around whatever this costs, would you buy this microphone? If not, which one would you buy? Put it in the comments and let me know. Would you buy either of these? Should you buy either of these? I don't know about this one. It's good, but there's a lot of other good stuff for about the same money. I'm gonna put a couple of links to some of the alternatives that I would say to this one. This cheap microphone for $30 or $40, if you are just dabbling and you're just getting into recording, again, buy what you can afford. And if you can afford this, then do it. I think it would be a good idea. This one comes with like an arm that clamps to the table, so you can like podcast with it. I would say be careful with vibrations with this one. Definitely. Pretty cool stuff. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. I know it's a little different video than what we normally do, but I like making these videos. I think it's fun. And I think that keeping them realistic, I know a lot of people are going to say, you didn't test it right. That's not blah, blah, I just think if somebody's going to spend 40 or 50 bucks for a microphone, or they're going to buy something off of Amazon, they're going to use something like this into a laptop and they're going to play, that's the setup in your living room. I mean, that's a realistic setup. I don't think it needs to be super crazy and fancy. So I want to use it kind of like how normal people would use it. Anyway, make sure you check out our live show on Thursday. We are doing some stuff to make that a lot better, I'll tell you what. And check out patreon.com/DylanTalksTone, Instagram @DylanTalksTone. And we have a Facebook group too, Did you know that? We have a Facebook group. I'll put a link to it below because I can never remember the link, but I'll put a link to it in the description of the video. We don't let mean people in, so if you're a jerk, just don't even bother. Also, and basically why I do it is because it helps me, because there's a bunch of folks in there that love guitar stuff, and it's not like other Facebook groups. There is no ridiculousness going on in there. It's literally just, hey, I need help with this thing on my guitar, and everybody pitches in, and I pitch in, and it's pretty fun. So it's down there, and then you get to hear about some, every once in a while I'll tell you about stuff that's coming up and whatever. So it's pretty cool. So check that out as well. And we got a new shirt on the website. The OG Dylan Pickups logo shirt is now on the website, and I think you're going to dig that. Thanks for hanging out, and I guess we will see you in the next video.